What about eternity? You know, we all face that question. In my 67 years of living, uh, that's the most important question, is where will you spend eternity? And, you need an answer in this life. You can't get it in the next. By then, it's too late. Um, and so I wanted to share with you today. I know I've done a lot of different subjects on this channel, as far as retirement and old age and learning and that type of thing goes. But this is the most important one, and I wanted to just kind of share it with you. I'm not here to preach or at you or anything like that. Just share with you what I've learned, and something that I know we all share and we've all thought about, and that is, where will we spend eternity? Maybe when you're younger, you don't think as much about it. I know I didn't. You kind of think you're invincible. At least I did. And, now, you feel like you're, knocking on the door to eternity. The older you get and each year that goes by, I've got a dad now that's 90 years old, and he's definitely closer than he's ever been. But I found out that, being saved was not anything that was dependent upon me. It was dependent upon what Christ did. And it took me a while to get there, to realize that. You think, well, if I'm good enough, or I'm baptized, or I'm, I never miss a church service, I say my prayers and so on. That doesn't cut it, because Christ paid the price. He did it all. If it's dependent on us, we wouldn't be able to get there. It's not by any good works that we do. It's by what Christ did. And I just wanted to share with you real quickly what I learned, about the gospel. And Paul explains the gospel in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 through 4. I'm going to read those to you, and then, if I were you, I encourage you to, follow up and read for yourself. But he says, "Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel, which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand." And then down in 3 and 4, he tells us how we're saved. "For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures." That's the gospel. It's that simple. It's all dependent on Christ. Imagine if it was dependent on us, how much we would brag, and we can't. We just, there's nothing that, we ourselves can do. It has to come from Christ and what he did. And then also in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9, Paul again says, "For by grace are ye saved, through faith, that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast." There again, there's the boasting thing. We would probably just boast to the high heavens about how good we were or whatever, but that's not what does it. I hope, if there are some of you out there who have not believed the gospel, believed in what Christ did for us, I hope you'll make that decision. Again, I'm really not trying to preach to you, but I care about all of you, and I just want to see people saved, and I pray that you will make that decision to believe. Don't put it off. There's so many things where we put things off, we procrastinate, but I hope you, like I said, read for yourself. Again, it was 1 Corinthians 15, verses 1 through 4, Ephesians 2, verses 8 and 9. There are other verses, of course. But I just pray that you'll make that decision. And if you do, or you have anything else about this topic that you'd like to discuss, go ahead and make a comment in the comment section. Love to hear from you. Subscribe to this channel if you like the content, and hit the like button. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.